forward charge. Time of supply of a service forward charge. First of all, you should know whether invoice is issued within time limit. Within time limit. Then time of supply is date of invoice or date of payment, whichever is earlier. If invoice is not issued, invoice is not issued within time limit, then time of supply is date of service or date of payment, whichever is earlier. So first of all, in respect of time of supply of service forward charge, first what you have to do is check if invoice is issued within time. What is the time limit within which invoice is to be issued in respect of service? Is dealt by section 31. We will go to section 31. Don't worry, in a short while from now. Then date of invoice or date of payment, whichever is earlier. What do you mean by date of payment? Again, we will have an explanation. What will be the date of payment? The date recorded in the books of accounts or date on which the amount is credited in the bank account of the recipient, whichever is earlier. Sorry, in the bank account of the supplier, whichever is earlier. If invoice is not issued within the time limit specified under section 31, the time of supply is date of service or date of payment, whichever is earlier. What do you mean by date of payment? Date recorded in the books of accounts of the supplier or date on which the bank account of the supplier is credited, whichever is earlier. Sometimes what will happen is you will not be able to determine the time of supply either in this method or in this method. You don't know the date of invoice. You don't know the date of service. Okay. You don't know the date of payment. You are unable to determine, or you don't know the date of service, or you don't know the date of invoice. Then there is another method to determine the time of supply. That method is if time of supply is not able to be determined in accordance with 13(2)(a) or 13(2)(b. or 13(2)(b. You are not 13(2)(b). You are not able to determine either under class A or class B because you don't have the date of invoice. You don't have the date of completion of service. Then what will be the time of supply? Time of supply is the date on which the recipient records in his books of account. The recipient enters in his books of account. That will be the time of supply. Here you should be able to understand when it is a recipient, when it is supplier, blah, blah, blah. You should keep track of it. Sir, how the hell did one don't know what is the date of invoice, what is the date of service? How come one never know that those things? It will happen. I will tell you how, by way of an example. I will tell you how this will happen by way of an example. Let us say there is one fellow. He is having a shop. He is having a shop on one of the main roads. In one of the main road, in a heavy traffic area, he is having a shop. The GST people one day went to their shop and asked him to produce the books of accounts for the purpose of verification. They went through the profit and loss account and found out that they have found out one of the expenditure, shop cleaning expenses, rupees 26,500. Now these fellows asked the shopkeeper to give the details of the person who has carried out this cleaning service. That fellow gave a simple slip. On that he wrote 26,500 and he has signed on that. This fellow Apparo, worst fellow. Don't think all Apparos are worst fellows. This fellow Apparo is a worst fellow. Immediately they took the address of Apparo, they took the mobile number and called him. Apparo, we have a premises, you need to do cleaning service and the area is 2,500 square feet. How much will you charge? Apparo told, I will charge 10,000. Okay, tell me the shop of your address. These people went to the shop of the cleaning service fellow Apparo. And they asked him to produce the books of accounts. To their surprise, they found out that this fellow did not record 26,500 in his books, unaccounted. This fellow has done the service. He took the money in cash. He never raised an invoice because this is unaccounted. He never maintained the record on which he has completed the service with this fellow. There is no record with this fellow. But nonetheless, this amount of 26,500 will be brought into GST net by issuing a notice to this Apparo. Now, the time of supply will be the date on which the service is recorded in the books of the recipient. This shop is the recipient. They paid 26,500 to Apparo and recorded in their books of accounts. The date on which the shopkeeper recorded the payment for service cleaning charges to Apparo will be the time of supply in the hands of Apparo. GST along with interest will be collected. Interest will be levied from the time of supply. Okay. Now that is how the C point will be assisting the department in ascertaining the time of supply for the purpose of calculating interest payable. Provided where supplier taxable amount of up to 1,000, this point you already know. If any invoice, the amount is collected up to 1,000 in excess, then instead of paying it on receipt basis, you can, the time of supply will be the time at which the invoice for that surplus is issued. This you already know. The supply shall be deemed to have been made to the extent it is covered by the invoice. What is the implication of this? Yesterday we understood at length. I told you an example that A entered into an agreement with B to supply 100 kgs of rice, but only 80 kgs was supplied. Invoice was also issued for 80 kgs. So the time of supply will be only to the extent to which the invoice is raised. That we went through the example. Date of receipt of payment, we already know. What is the date of receipt of payment? Date on which the payment is entered in the books of the supplier, or date on which the amount is credited in the bank account of the supplier, whichever is earlier. This we went through. So, to summarize, time of supply for service, forward charge. Time of supply for service, forward charge. If the invoice is issued within the prescribed time limit, date of invoice or date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. If invoice is not issued within the prescribed time limit, date of service or date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. I am unable to determine the time of supply in accordance with the clause A or clause B. Then time of supply will be the date on which the service is recorded in the books of the recipient. What do you mean by date of payment of date of receipt of payment? Date recorded in the books of the supplier or date on which it is credited to the bank account of the supplier, whichever is earlier. 1,000 rupees point is there. If you receive money in excess of the invoice value, but up to 1,000, the time of supply for that surplus can be the date on which the invoice for the surplus received is issued. Can be the time of supply to that extent. Also, time of supply is to be determined only to the extent to which the invoice is issued or payment is received, as the case may be. That is with regard to forward charge. Now let's move on to the reverse charge. For services also, there might be reverse charge. Anyone tell me at least one or two situations wherein the reverse charge for service is applicable? Give me one or two examples, it is enough. Give me one or two examples wherein reverse charge service is applicable.
Legal service.
Very good. Legal service. Good.
Goods transport agency.
Goods transport agency. Very good. Sponsorship service. Very good. Next. Any other service? Services by government. Services by government.
Insurance agent.
Insurance agent to the insurance company. Very good. Next, someone answered security services. Yes, very good. So these are some of the services on which reverse charge recovery agents. Someone told about recovery agents or business correspondent to the banking company, blah, blah, blah. Very good, very good. You are right. So these are the set of these certain services on which GST is payable on reverse charge. Now, in such cases, how to determine the time of supply is a question. It is dealt by subsection 3 of Goods Transport Agency. Yes, already someone has answered about the Goods Transport Agency. Good. Now, subsection 3 of section 13 of the CGST Act deals with the time of supply in respect of services chargeable on reverse charge. So, what is the time of supply in such case? Date of payment as entered in the books of account of the recipient. Now here it is recipient, or date on which the payment is debited in the bank account, whichever is earlier, means date of payment, right? Next, or the date immediately following 60 days from the date of issue of invoice or other document by the supplier. Okay, so let's understand how it is to be treated. Now, anyone, or of course, I will only tell you what is the time of supply for reverse charge goods. Date on which the goods are received. Date on which the goods are received. Date of payment. The date on which the entry is recorded in the books. Okay. Or
31st day from the date of issue.
Very good. 31st day from the date of issue of invoice by the supplier. 4 points. Whichever is earlier. Now here you take out the point number 1. Remove point 1. Point 1 there is date of receipt of goods. Remove that point. And in the last point, instead of 31, you make it 60. So in the last point, the date immediately following 60 days. So instead of 31, you make it 61. So date of recording payment in books of accounts of recipient, date debited in bank account of recipient, 61st day from date of invoice issued by the supplier, whichever is earlier. As simple as that. Okay. Suppose this point is same. It is not possible to determine the time of supply in accordance with the aforesaid provision. Then the time of supply will be the date on which the supply is recorded in the books of the recipient. I told you an example. Provided further, in case of supply by associate enterprise, where the supplier is located outside India, this is overriding. This is overriding provision. Means This provision is more powerful than the aforesaid provision. If the supplier and the recipient are both associated enterprises. What do you mean by associated enterprises? At the beginning of the chapter, we have learned the definition. We learned the definition of the associated enterprise at the beginning of the chapter. They are able to control the management, or they are able to control the equity. It has the same meaning as assigned to it under the Income Tax Act that we have learned at the beginning of this chapter itself. The supplier and the recipient both are associated enterprises, and the supplier is located outside India. Then the time of supply is the date on which the entry is recorded in the books of the recipient, or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Now, what are the conditions here? What are the conditions here? The supplier and the recipient both are associated enterprises. Associated enterprises, point number 1. Point number 2. What is point number 2? The supplier is located outside India. The supplier is located outside India. If both these conditions are satisfied, the time of supply will be date on which transaction is recorded in the books of account of the recipient, or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Again, date of payment means date on which the payment is recorded in the books of the recipient, or the date on which the amount gets debited in the bank account of the recipient, whichever is earlier. Right? So moving forward, vouchers. Vouchers, if I again tell you the time of supply for vouchers, it will be of a great insult to you. But nonetheless, this time you are not insulted, I will tell. If the supply is identifiable at the time of issue of the voucher, then the date of issue of the voucher is the time of supply. If the supply is not identifiable at the time of issue of the voucher, the date of redemption of the voucher will be the time of supply in respect of that voucher. This provision is similar to the provision we have read in the time of supply for goods. Same to same, same pinch. Now subsection 5 is also similar. You are unable to determine the time of supply in any of the above aforesaid provisions, then how to determine the time of supply? If you are required to file periodical returns, the due date for filing the periodical return shall be the time of supply. In any other case, the date on which the tax is paid is the time of supply. This provision is also similar to the provision we came across, or we went through in respect of time of supply of goods. Right. Next. This provision is also similar provision. Time of supply, to the extent it relates to an addition in the value of the supply by way of interest, late fee, penal charges, etc., etc. The time of supply will be the time in which that such addition in the value is received. Same. So subsection 4, subsection 5, subsection 6 of section 13 are more or less identical to the provisions of subsection 4, 5, 6 as contained in section 12 of the CGST Act. So what I mean to say is 12 subsection 4, 5, 6 are similar to 13, 4, 5 and 6. So basically what I want to impress upon you is, if you go through the provisions of section 12 and has thoroughly understood the provisions of section 12, it is very easy for you to understand the provisions of section 13. Section 12 deals with the time of supply of goods. Section 13 deals with the time of supply of service. Now, in the same fashion, yesterday we went through the section 31 in respect of when an invoice is to be issued in respect of goods. Just what I will try to do is I will try to recollect those provisions relating to time of issue of invoice in respect of goods as mentioned in section 31. Does any one of you want to help me in this regard? Does any one of you want to help me in this regard? What I mean to say is, can any one of you tell me the time at which the invoice is to be issued in respect of goods?
Before or at the time of removal of goods or delivery of goods or making the goods available to the recipient.
Very good. I appreciate you made an attempt. But the first part you should be clear. The first part is where the supply involves movement of goods, invoice is to be issued at the time of removal or before it removal. In any other case, means the supply do not involve the movement of goods. In such a case, the time of supply is the date of the invoice is to be issued at the time of delivery or at the time of making the supply available to the recipient. If goods are sent on sale or approval basis, invoice is to be issued at the time of supply or 6 months from the date of removal of goods. In respect of continuous supply, where periodical statements or periodical payments are involved, invoice is to be issued at the time of or before issue of such a statement or at the time of or before each such a payment is received. Okay. So that is the time at which the invoice is to be issued in respect of goods as far as section 31 is mentioned. Earlier of removal of goods or entry in the books of account. For invoice, I am afraid entry in the books of account is not at all a relevant point. Okay, what I suggest you is you go through the provisions once again so that you will be, yes, those provisions were already explained to you. This time you will understand it in a better manner. Very good. I am afraid section 31 never deals with the recording in the books of account. Okay, moving forward. Invoice in respect of services. Invoice in respect of services. What is it? What is it? A registered person supplying taxable service shall before or after the provision of service, but within a prescribed time, issue a tax invoice prescribed. We went through the definition of prescribed. Yes or no? Did we went through the definition of prescribed? Yes or no? Yes or no? Prescribed definition, did we go through or not? No, no, there is only two answers for this. Yes or no? You should tell me one thing. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Then tell me what is the definition of prescribed?
Rules made under this act.
Sorry?
The prescribed definition means the rules made under this act or the recommendations made under this act.
Very good. Prescribed means as what is prescribed in the rules made under this act. Here what he is saying, registered person has to before or after the provision of the service, but within a prescribed time. But within a prescribed time, the prescribed will be given in the rules. So for what is prescribed, you should refer to rules. In CGST rules, you will find out the time limit within which the invoice is to be issued. Okay, good. Now, the tax invoice is to be issued before or after the provision of the service, but within the prescribed time limit. Okay, provided government on the recommendation of the council by notification, subject to conditions, specify any other document issued shall be deemed to be tax invoice, or tax invoice may not be issued. So the government has the power that in respect of certain categories of service, you need not issue tax invoice at all, or any other document may be treated as a tax invoice. For example, railway tickets. You will go to the railway station or book a railway ticket in IRCTC platform. You want to book a ticket from Hyderabad to Vijayawada, or you may want to book a ticket from Hyderabad to Tirupati, or Hyderabad to Vizag. You want to see a beach, so you book a ticket to, okay, leave alone these Andhra Pradesh, Telangana issues. You want to book a ticket to Goa, Hyderabad to Goa. You will book the ticket online in IRCTC portal. Now you will not be given any invoice. The ticket itself is deemed to be a invoice. Ticket itself is deemed to be a invoice. Okay, that you should understand. Subject to the provisions of clause D of subsection 3. Clause D of subsection 3. Okay, what is clause D of subsection 3? We will understand when we go into section 31. Where the due date of payment is ascertainable from the contract, the invoice shall be issued on or before the due date of payment. Where the due date of payment is not ascertainable from the contract, the invoice shall be issued before or at the time when the supplier of service receives the payment. Where the payment is linked to a completion of an event, invoice will be issued on or before the date of completion of that event. Now, basically, this is in respect to contracts. With respect to contracts. Now, suppose in the contract itself, there is a due date for payment. Due date for payment. So within what time you have to issue the invoice? On or before the due date for payment, you have to issue the invoice. If the due date for payment is not given in the contract, then what you have to do? You have to issue the invoice on or before the receipt of payment. Now, if the payment in the contract is linked to the completion of a specific event, then on or before completion of that event, you have to issue the invoice. Now, for this, I will tell you an example. For this, I will tell you an example. If there is a contract and the payment is linked to completion of an event, let us say, what is this? What is this? Tell me something. What you have understood?
Bridge.
Okay. Someone else?
Road.
Very good. This is a road. So you should tell me as to what I am thinking. Okay. So this is a road. Might be bridge also. Okay. I appreciate that you are a bit nearer to what I am thinking. This is a road. Very good. So you should be thinking out of box sometimes. Okay, right. Now, this is a road of 300 kilometers from Vijayawada to Hyderabad. I am a very reputed contractor, very big and reputed contractor. I won this contract of laying road from Vijayawada to Hyderabad, 8-track road. You will reach from Vijayawada to Hyderabad within 3 hours. In such a way, I am planning to build this road. The government of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana jointly gave me this contract. Okay. Now the contract contains a clause where it has a clause on completion of every 1 kilometer road the government of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana will pay the contractor rupees 25 crores. So I should raise the invoice on the date on which I complete every kilometer. Means the contract contains a stipulation that payment shall be made at the completion of an event. In this example, the event is completion of 1 kilometer. Completion of 1 kilometer is an event. On the completion of that event of 1 kilometer, today I have completed the 1 kilometer. Today or prior to today, I should issue an invoice with relation to this 1 kilometer 25 crores. Okay. Next. In case where the supply of service ceases under a contract, before completion of the supply, the invoice should be issued at the time when the supply ceases, and such invoice shall be issued to the extent of supply made before such cessation. What happened? What happened is, previously I was allotted to lay this road 300 kilometers. Do you think that I will be able to complete this 300 kilometers overnight? Do you expect me to complete this 300 kilometers within 1 week or 10 days or 1 year or 2 years? I may even take 5 years or 6 years also sometimes. What happened? One government allotted me this road. After 5 years, I am yet to complete this road. Government changed. New government came. New government came. That new government is hostile towards me. That new government is hostile towards me. Somehow they want to remove the contract from me, and they want to allot the contract to their relatives. So what happened? They terminated my contract of laying this road from Vijayawada to Hyderabad. Or the government remained the same, but I violated the conditions. At every place, I am installing hoardings. Instead of installing the hoarding of respected Jagan sir and respected KCR sir, I started installing my hoardings. Because I want to become an MLA or MP the next time when the elections comes. So I started canvassing from today onwards. I am laying the road by the money given by the government, but I started installing my hoardings instead of, and as per the contract, I should install a hoarding at every half kilometer of Sri Jagan and Sri KCR. But I started doing this mischief. What they will do? I have contravened the provisions of the contract, and I was removed as a contractor from that road contract. Yeah, why am I telling you all these examples? Just to drive home the provision. The contract for supply of a service got terminated before completion of the contract. In such a case, when invoice is to be issued, invoice is to be issued when the contract is terminated. To what extent I should give the invoice? To the extent to which the supply is made before such termination. Okay. So if the supply ceases before completion of service, invoice is to be issued before or at the time of cessation. But you did not complete the work. So to the extent to which it is completed, you have to issue the invoice. The invoice for service is to be issued before or after the completion of the service, but not exceeding the time limit prescribed. Somewhere we have learnt that registered person shall before or after the provision of service, but within the prescribed period. What is the prescribed period? Prescribed period is chapter 6 of CGST rules. Chapter 6 of the CGST rules. In the case of taxable supply of service, invoice shall be issued within a period of 30 days from the date of supply of service. In respect of insurer, banking company, financial institution, including NBFC, the period within which the invoice or any document is to be issued within a period of 45 days from the date of service. So invoice is to be issued within 30 days of completion of service. In respect of a banking company or non-banking financial institution or insurer or financial institution, 30 days will be replaced by 45 days. 30 days will be replaced by 45 days. Okay. Provided further, insurer, banking company, financial institution, NBFC, telecom operator, or any other notified supplier making services to distinct persons, they can issue invoice before at the time of such supplier records the same in the books of accounts or before the expiry of the quarter. I will explain what it is. Invoice can be issued before or after the completion of service, but not later than the prescribed time limit. Prescribed time limit is given in the rules. For a service, within 30 days of completion of the service, you have to issue an invoice. If it is a banking company, finance company, NBFC, insurer, it has to be issued within 45 days. Okay. We have one more point. With regard to the issue of invoice by an insurer or banking company or financial institution or a NBFC or a telecom operator. They are providing service to distinct person. They are providing service to distinct person. Then invoice can be issued quarterly. Now, what is this? Let us say there is State Bank of India. State Bank of India head office. head office. State Bank of India will have many local head offices. They are called as LHOs. State Bank of India has many head offices. They are termed as LHOs. The LHO Hyderabad is for the states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. You have many branches. How many branches of State Bank of India are there? More than 10,000 branches State Bank of India is having. More than 10,000. So the LHO may provide service to branches. Branches are distinct persons. Branches are distinct persons. So LHO Hyderabad may provide service to branches of AP. Branches of AP. Though they are the same persons, it is deemed as supply. Deemed as a supply as per Schedule 1, even though there is no consideration. Now, if the services are provided to the distinct persons, if services are provided to the distinct persons, they can invoice quarterly. They can invoice quarterly. Someone has posted in the chat box. What is the full form of LHO? LHO means local head office. Local head office. State Bank of India is such a huge bank that it cannot manage its operations with one head office. So it has many head offices. Each such head office will be called as LHOs. LHOs means local head office. LHO means local head office. Then invoice is to be issued at the time the supply is recorded in the books of accounts or quarterly, whichever is earlier. Okay, good. Moving forward. I think we went into the analysis part at the time of going through the statutory provision itself. Most of the items I have explained. But we will once again go through the analysis part so that it will act as a revision for us. So forward charge, supply of service under forward charge, reverse charge, vouchers, residuary cases, addition in the value of supply. So what is the time limit? Forward charge, it is date of invoice or date of receipt of payment. Okay, whichever is earlier. If invoice is issued within the time. If it is not issued within time, date of service or date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. If you are unable to determine the time of supply in respect of with the available provisions of A and B, then you have to go for the date on which the recipient of service shows in his books of account. Date of receipt of payment, you already know. Date of receipt of payment is date recorded in the books of account of the supplier or date on which the amount is created in the bank account of the supplier, whichever is earlier. Okay. To the extent to which invoice or payment covers the supply of service, this implication we already understood. That 100 kg rice, 80 kg rice, that we have understood. Time limit for issue of invoice under section 31. So within what time you have to give? You have to give within 30 days. 45 days for insurance, banking companies, etc. And if there happens to be distinct persons, you can issue the invoice quarterly or at the time of recording in the books of accounts. Now, in case of continuous supply of a service, when invoice is to be issued on or before the due date of payment, on or before the due date of payment, where the due date for payment is mentioned in the contract. If the due date is not mentioned in the contract, at the time of when the supplier receives the payment on or before the due date. Suppose there is a milestone or where the payment is linked to an event. At the time of completion of the event or before that, you have to give the invoice. What do you mean by continuous supply of service? We will understand in that chapter. We are going to deal with chapter number 8. In that chapter number 8, we will understand what do you mean by continuous supply. Suppose there is a cessation. If there is a cessation, then you have to issue an invoice at the time of cessation to the extent to which you have completed the service. Mohit Khanna and Sons is a firm of management consultants. The firm enters into a contract with Spark Private Limited on 1st September for providing consultancy service. Provision of service gets completed on 15th September. So date of service is 15/9. Invoice is issued on 20th September. Date of invoice is 20th September. Payment is received on 10th of October. Date of payment is 10th of October. Now, we have to determine the time of supply. What is the time of supply for forward charge? If invoice is issued within 30 days, what is date of supply? 15. What is 30 days? 14th of October. But invoice is given on 20th. So it is issued within time. If it is issued within time, date of invoice or date of payment, whichever is earlier. So 29 will be the time of supply. 29 will be the time of supply. Next. If in the above example, invoice is issued on 5th of October. Okay. Date of invoice is 5th of October. Date of invoice is 5th of October. Date of invoice is 5th of October. Date of service is 15/9. Date of service is date of service changed? If the invoice is issued 5th October, date of service date of service is 15th September. Date of invoice is 5th October. Date of payment is 10th October. Now, is the invoice issued within time? 30 days? Is invoice issued within 30 days? What is 30 days from date of service? What is 30 days from date of service? 14th October. So it is issued within time. Therefore, date of invoice or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Date of invoice is 5th October, date of payment is 10th October. Whichever is earlier, 5th October. 5th October. Something is there in this question because what he has taken is actually date of completion of service is to be taken. Date of completion of service is to be taken. The date of issuance of invoice or date of receipt of payment. Invoice, when it has to be issued, invoice has to be issued from the date of supply of service. From the date of supply of service. From the date of supply of service. Now here what happened is the firm enters into a contract on 1st September. So he is taking the date of supply as 1st September. He is taking the date of supply as 1st September. But actually, date of supply should be date of completion. Should be date of completion. So you keep this question pending. You keep this question pending. We will come to this part later. Because date of completion is 15th. So date of service is to be taken as 15th. Date of invoice is 5th October. It is given within time. If it is given within time, date of invoice or date of payment whichever is earlier. So 5th October will be the answer. But what this fellow has done is the date of supply is taken as 1st September. Date of supply is 1st September he has taken. The day on which he enters into a contract. You keep that question on hold, we will refer at a later point of time. Now come to the next question. Come to the next question. Next question is booking of a convention hall. Sum agreed is 15,000. Advance of 3,000 received. Function held in 15th September. Invoice is issued 27 October. Now, what is time of supply? If invoice is issued within the time, if invoice is issued within time, what is within time? 30 days from the date of service. Date of service is 15th September. What is 30 days? 14th October. 14th October. So here invoice is issued on 27 October. Therefore, it is not issued within time. If it is not issued within time, then date of service or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Here we have two parts. What is first part? Date of service is 15th September. One payment 3,000 received on 6th May. So for 3,000, 15th September or 6th May, whichever is earlier. 6th May is earlier. So 6th May 3,000 time of supply. Okay. For balance 12,000 received on 3rd of November. But here the invoice is not issued within time. So date of supply, function held on 15th September. So 15th September or 3rd November, whichever is earlier, for 12,000. So 15th September is the time of supply for 12,000. 6th May is time of supply for 3,000. So 3,000 is 6th May. 3,000 is 6th May. 12,000 is 15th September. 12,000 15th September. Okay. Next. Next question. Investigation shows that ABC and Co carried out a service of cleaning and repair of tanks in an apartment complex, for which the apartment owner showed a payment on 4th April. The dates of work are not clear from the records of ABC and Co. ABC and Co has not issued any invoice. They did not enter the payment in the books. This is a case where you are unable to find the time of supply as per clause A or clause B of subsection 2 of section 13. Then what you have to do? Time of supply is date on which the service is recorded in the books of recipient. What is the date? 4th of April is the time of supply. 4th of April is the time of supply. 4th of April is the time of supply. Now, this is the pictorial representation of the provisions, what we have learned, that you can go through for a bird's eye view of what is the time of supply in respect of services. This 1,000 already we have learned. The time of supply will be the time at which the invoice is issued. So what happened? A telephone company gave an invoice for 4,800. 4,800. but this fellow paid 5,000. So 200 excess. Actually 200 is received first, but still the time of supply for this 200 can be at the option of the service provider, the date on which the invoice is issued for this 200. Okay, right, in the next invoice. Okay, time of supply for reverse charge 13/3. So 13/3 date of payment or 61st day. 61st day. If it is not possible to determine in accordance with this, then date of entry of a service in the books of recipient. Date of payment means date on which the amount is recorded in the books of the recipient, or date on which the amount is debited to the bank account of the recipient, whichever is earlier. Next, associate enterprise. For associate enterprise, date recorded in the books of account of the recipient or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Now, for reverse charge, again you have a flow chart. You can go through the flow chart. Now we have an illustration. Determine the time of supply from the given information. Reverse charge. The supplier of service issue invoice for service provided. This is date of invoice. Payment is made on 21st August. So for reverse charge, three items are there. One, date of payment. Date of payment means date recorded in the books of account and a date debited in the bank account. Both of these are taken as 21st of August. Next, third point. This is first 1 point. This is 2 point. Third point. Third point. What is the third point? 61st day of invoice. What is 61st day of invoice? May 4 is the date of invoice. What is 61 day? May 4 to June 3rd, July 2nd. So July 3rd, 61st day. What is the date? May 4. 4/5/21. What is the July 3rd? 3/7/21 is equal to this minus this. So this will be 4, I think. So July 4, 61st day, not July 3rd. July 4. July 4 or August 21, whichever is earlier. July 4 is earlier. So the time of supply will be July 4. The time of supply will be July 4. Next, determine the time of supply from given information. Determine that bear with me for a few more minutes so that we'll be able to through this chapter today. And the next class will be going through the test your knowledge. You have a day's time to compile the questions from the past examination papers as well as from the previous RTPs. So at least one of you or two of you are trying to compile those questions. I appreciate your effort and also wish that you would compile this time also for this chapter by Monday. Right. Determine the time of supply from the given information. A German company issues email informing its associate company of the cost of technical services on May 4. ABC transfers the amount on July 2nd. Actually, for import of for supply of service between associate enterprises from a supplier outside India, the time of supply will be the date on which the transaction is recorded in the books of the recipient or date of payment. Here we have the date of payment. It is July 2nd. It is July 2nd. Vouchers we already went through. At the time of issue of voucher, if you know this supply, then it is date of issue of voucher. In any other case, it will be the date on which the voucher is redeemed. Best Hospital Services entered in agreement with Drive Marketing, hotel rooms and sells coupons or vouchers redeemable for discount at a stay in a hotel. Now, is the supply identified, yes or no? Is the supply identified? Yes.
Yes, sir.
What is the coupon? Hotel stay. So the supply is identified. Therefore, date of issue of the voucher will be the date of issue of a coupon. Will be the date of or time of supply. Residuary cases, we very well know what is the residuary case. You are unable to determine the time of supply as per subsection 2, subsection 3, subsection 4. You are unable to determine the time of supply in any of the aforesaid subsections. Then the time of supply will be determined in a manner as to if periodical returns are to be filed, due date for filing that periodical return, else in any other case, date of payment of tax will be the time of supply. Then what about enhancement in the value of the consideration? Delayed payments like interest, late fee, penalty. Now for this, the time of supply will be the date on which such interest or late fees or penalty is received. The date on which that amount is received will be the time of supply. Now, the time of supply for services is summarized for you in the form of a flow chart, and instead of going through all these provisions for revision purpose, you can just refer this page. Mind you, only if you are thorough with the provisions, just for the sake of revision, you can refer this flow chart, but don't try to understand the subject with the flow chart. It will be a blunder or it will be a disaster for that matter, like the new income tax website. Okay, so what is the manner of learning these provisions? First, you go through the statutory provisions. Then you go through the analysis part. You prepare your notes. Then for revision, you can refer to the flowcharts. See you on Monday with a hope that at least a few of you, if not all, will compile the past question papers and also previous RTPs. See you next time.